in the discussion of Universal rides, I feel like a lot of people go to their top 5 best, or maybe just top 5 worst, or some underrated bangers, right? And so I've been thinking for a little bit. I have a lot of rides that I enjoy that I know some other people don't. So I thought it'd be fun to sit down and talk about my top 5 overhated rides. Not by me, rides that I think are really fun that other people just dog on nonstop. So as you can see, this is not a normal episode. I'm not in my car. Whoa. And I'm not saving this as a podcast or anything. I kind of just wanted this to be just a video to sit down. I don't think this really deserved its own episode. I'm still figuring out, what goes where between videos and episodes, but this just isn't one of them. With that being said, still, of course, liking and subscribe would mean the world to me. Just anything to get this channel ball rolling. But I'm not going to sit here and yap about that. Let's just jump right in. So I'm just going to go, of course, 5-1 of rides I think are overhated in the scene. And then I have one ride that I think is underhated that it gets its critique, but I just think there deserves to be more. But I'm just going to jump right in. I have them written down here so I don't forget. But my number 5, and this is kind of an odd pick. This isn't really overhated. This is my one. The rest are overhated. Well, kind of. You'll see. My bottom 2 are more just underrated / not talked about a lot. And my number 5 is Dr. Doom's Fearfall at Islands of Adventure, obviously. Now, I think, where am I even going to start this? People talk about this park, right? People talk about Spider-Man, people talk obviously about Velocicoaster and Hagrid's and yada yada, but I don't really see anyone talking about Doom. And at that, not people don't even talk about Hulk anymore, which obviously it's like 30 whatever, well, like 29 years old now, right? So of course it's had its age, but I feel like nobody talks about Dr. Doom, so I just wanted to a little bit. With that being said, I don't think it's super thrilling, right? For those who don't know, it's a drop ride, but not your typical just up and straight down. It's like a up. Actually, going up is like quicker than going down. It's like, and then. So it's not much, and I'm not going to sit here and say it's the best ride in the park because I'm not doing underrated. Well, kind of here, but it's more just it doesn't get looked at enough, and not even just the ride, but the queue itself. It's always a thing with the people I go with, where it's like that's the fridge. When you go to Dr. Doom, it feels like 20 below in there, which obviously on a hot Florida day is like a godsend. It feels so good in that room. So I don't really have much on it. I just feel like nobody talks about that ride, and it's it's fun. You cool off. There's never a wait. The most I've waited is probably single digit numbers, and I've gone on this ride a lot. The most I've probably waited is like 8 or 9 minutes. But yeah, I don't have a ton to say. I really like that ride, and I don't feel like enough people talk about it. Okay, and my number 4 pick is almost the same kind of thing. It's not necessarily overhated. People critique it, but I feel like it just also doesn't get talked about a lot, which is funny enough also at Islands, and it's kind of a cheater, but I'm just gonna go with kind of the entirety of Seuss Landing. So really just Cat in the Hat, but also all 3 of the rides. There's 3 rides there, right? All 3 of the rides in Seuss Landing. It's the same kind of thing. They're just kind of rides to get on. Like, they don't have a lot of weight. They're definitely not super thrilling. But I know it comes from a place of love, but I see a lot of hate on Cat in the Hat, where it's just like creepy and weird and shit. And I think a majority of people enjoy it. But I kind of just wanted to throw it onto the list to where when you're talking about just rides that people don't talk about enough, or I guess I'm calling it overhated, but only my top 3 are overhated. But these 2, it kind of just don't get in the mix of conversation enough. And I'm like, I love Seuss Landing. I love the way it looked. I love the rides. So we're on to my top 3, which are actually, I think, overhated. And, if this video amounts any views, I could get some hate for this, but that's the point of the video, right? So my number 3, I have Minion Con Villain, or Minion Blast Villain Con, Villain Minion Blast Con, whatever, at Universal Studios. Now wait, hear me out. The point of this list is overhated. It's not my top 3 underrated, although I was kind of making those last 2 like that. These top 3 are not. Okay, I'm not at all saying Minion Blast is anywhere near like my top 5, top 10, top 15. I'm not saying it's underrated at all, but I'm saying it's overhated. And there there's a million points as to why you could say it's bad, right? I've been on it a couple times. I've seen the videos. I was kind of a fan of Shrek 4D, but it's also it's got enough to not be like the end of the world, right? I think Universal Studios, the park, is suffering a little bit, at least in Florida, with an identity crisis. We got Harry Potter, which is like kind of saving it, but then you just had, I don't think they have enough. But that's its own issue. In terms of this ride, there's a couple of videos out there about it, but you can like sync it with your phone to unlock different like blasters and colors and shit. And I know I sound like a 2-year-old right now, like, no, it's cool, you can get the app on your phone, but I think there's a little more effort that went into it than people realize. And I'm trying to get here. I'm not saying it's underrated and that it's a really cool ride. But I think it gets a little too much hate where it's like, you know, if they're already going to bite the bullet with this whole Minion Land and whatever, right as you walk in the park, it's nice to at least have another Minion ride. And I don't think it's that good, but it has its place. I don't know. So now, my number 2 spot is, I feel so crazy saying these out loud, but they're my own opinion. My number 2 is the Simpsons ride at Universal Studios. Same kind of thing. I'm not saying it's like a crazy good ride, but this is why it's my number 2. I actually do kind of enjoy it. And you can have all your critiques about how the motion makes you sick, which fair enough, if I went on it like twice in a row, then I do. Or any motion simulators twice in a row. I understand that. And the video's blurry, which again is true. But what saves it for me is the humor. I wish I had like someone else here to talk with me, because I know there's debates to be debated about this ride, but I've always been a Simpsons kind of person, and I think the humor just saves it on this ride. And that's everywhere. In the queue, you know, you have the little TVs to watch with the different cartoons. There's like enough to where if you're in the queue for a while, you'll probably see them all twice, or all once, then they start repeating. But there's enough to like, you know, constantly see new ones. And then there's the room before you actually get in the simulator, you know, with Marge's like sisters and Apu and someone else. It's like a little carnival thing. But there's jokes everywhere. And then I don't know if you call it the pre-show, but like in that room with the itchy and scratchy like safety guidelines, amazing. And then every joke on the ride itself, I could probably recite that script with how much I've been on it. And I know I sound like an idiot here, talking about how much I love the Simpsons ride, because people want that gone, and I know it is going to be gone in a bit, but I don't care. I think it's funny. I think it lived its life. Obviously, I'm not going to mind whatever goes there, because it's probably going to be better. But in terms of stuff that's overhated, I think Simpsons makes the cut. I don't think it's that horrible of a ride. I'm sorry if that makes me an idiot, but I think it's funny enough to be like, I guess not completely redeeming of the shitty motion simulator of it, but I think it's funny enough to be like, okay, you know what? It's still Simpsons. It's funny. Which, speaking of motion simulators, I know, again, kill me. You guys can burn me alive. But my number 1 most overhated ride is going to be Race Through New York, starring Jimmy Fallon at Universal Studios, Florida. Okay. I just don't get the hate. I'm going to be honest. That's why it's my number 1. I don't understand the hate. Well, that's a lie. I can see where it's coming from, but I don't see it from like an actual, real point of view. Like, I think it's stupid in a funny way, but I think it's stupid. But getting off, it doesn't actually make me mad where, you know, I'm like, that was a bad ride. Like, that was bad. Like, they shouldn't have done that. You know, to where some rides are genuinely bad, where you get off and it's like, that was a waste of time. That's just a shitty ride. This is like dumb or stupid, but like in a funny way, almost like Simpsons. I know, but it's just fun. And I guess it's the same kind of thing where I was a Jimmy Fallon person. I guess I still kind of am, and I do not think he's the funniest guy in the world. You know, I get sick of him as much as anyone else, but I love him at the same time. And I think it's really cool he got his own ride. And just it's the same kind of thing where the humor is just dumb enough to like get a chuckle out of me every time. And like the School of Fish part.
Stay in school, kids. You get it? School of Fish.
Stuff like that is just so stupid, but it makes me laugh. And I know, again, I sound like a freaking toddler here. Like, oh, I don't mind the motion simulator because it makes me laugh sometimes. But honestly, that's my opinion. I think we're stale and we're sick of the motion simulators, but this is one that I just don't understand the hate for. People are just like, oh, that Jimmy Fallon ride. And it's like, okay, Jimmy Fallon got a ride. So what? I think he's cute. I think he's enjoying his time. He's having a great time. He's got a stupid little ride and you race him. I don't know. I don't really have much to say. These are kind of just personal. That's why I wanted to make this video real quick. I don't think this deserves to be an episode, but there's just a couple picks to where I'm like, you know what? They're not that bad of rides. Which, before I wrap up, I wanted to say real quick, I have an underhated ride that you could argue already gets shit on enough, but I think deserves to be shit on even more. And that is the, I don't know the official name, but the Mario Kart ride at Epic and I guess in California and Japan or wherever. But, well, Bowser's Challenge, right? It's like Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. But I just, okay, it's like, I don't know if I got one bad ride because I've only been to Epic once, so I only did this once. And it was just worse than people described because I'd been hearing for like a year or whatever. And, well, no, it was months at that point. No, because a year, like California, whenever California got it, I'd been hearing how weird it was, how it was like AR, or like you put on these glasses and you see stuff, but there's also physical sets, which I wasn't opposed to that at all. You know, I don't like screens as much as the next guy, unless they're Jimmy Fallon. But you know, if you got to do them, you got to do them. So I was like, okay, there's physical sets, but then I have like augmented reality glasses on. I could work with that. And then I had my one time on it last July. So July of 2025, I got on, and it just was not it. I don't know if I was trying to track coins. I had like a weirdly infinite amount of shells. It was like you could press, I think there was a button on the steering wheel to like shoot a shell forward, and I couldn't keep track of how many I had. And then at the end, it like counted coins, and I was just like, this would be so. I know people have said it. I know I'm not original with this take, but this would be so much more fun in a test track. What do you call it? Slot car kind of style, like Radiator Springs Racers, where they're just actual cars and they just, I don't know, drift around and shit. Or you could race like Radiator Springs. If we had two cars and they raced, that'd be so much better. So I know people shit on that ride. I'm just saying it's needs more. I don't like that ride at all. So that's it, right? Like I said, I just kind of wanted to sit down and talk about this real quick. I just put up a post that said I wouldn't have anything over the weekend, but I think that's a lie. I think I'll put this up Saturday or Sunday, probably Saturday or Friday night. So this will count as a weekend kind of thing, and then I should have something coming Monday or Tuesday. I'm still sick if you can't hear. But yeah, that's it. I mean, I appreciate you tuning in if you're here. Took up the last 15 minutes of your day or so. Like I said earlier, this was just for funsies. I mean, if you think I'm stupid for this, fair enough. But I just wanted to get something out for you guys. And yeah, a like and a subscribe would be everything to me. I mean, the world. And I hope the next ride you go on is overhated because it'll be good. Boom, crushed it. All right, have a good one. Thank you.